What's up? It's ObamasWeapon.com. 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 Hey, you want to know something about how people are all like anti-war? Here's a secret. The people who are anti-war have been taught to give up their right to power and profits. Enslaved folk at the bottom wouldn't be surprised if the rich started that, or the CIA. They would do propaganda to get people, and there was propaganda a long time ago, alright. Man, they would hire celebrities to do it, and the propaganda was just programming people and making them go along with whatever the people in power wanted. You would see Reagan doing that type of shit, and you know, Reagan used to do that. He'd come out, oh, so you don't want socialized medicine, do you? You don't want universal health care? You don't want the government to decide, do you? And then they pretty much took away our health care. The insurance was made for profit only, and health care was only available to those with money. And that's the only thing they did there. And then they gutted the, basically the wage system, the benefit system, and they made society live off the bare minimum while the rich got everything, and all the money that was saved went to them. That's all they did. With the war stuff, you see the anti-war protesters. These people, well, you think, oh my God, well, war is bad, blood's bad. Well, the problem that they're not thinking about is that if you don't do war, you don't get power in the world. You don't get rich and live on the top of everyone. And that other people in the world, they're going to do it if you don't do it. American governments knew this. Okay, the American government knew that they needed to be the biggest, baddest motherfucking war machine on the planet to win. They adopted all of Hitler's techniques. And now we're a superpower. And we have all the same badass techniques of murder, eugenics, fucking military-industrial complex of torture, imprisonment of people, keeping everyone poor. We have the system that Hitler was trying to make for himself. Hitler was going to branch out the whole planet. We actually have achieved that. We've achieved that to a degree. We have every country enslaved to us and our rule. We have them all tied into our systems of NSA. You know, we've got them working for us pretty much. We got them to enter into the New World Order. That's what it was called by Bush. And I'm serious, all this is real. But yeah, I think that the American citizen out in the streets who was all programmed to be anti-war, oh yeah, they wanted him and these people to give up their power. This idea that they could achieve and have power. So that the government knew they're just going to keep trekking on, and they're going to get all the power that way. And everything kind of set up like that. Keep people giving up their power, and they're, they got all the votes, but they don't use them. Amazingly, everyone has power in the vote. The fact that the American government is set up to give everyone an equal vote. So we could put anyone we want in the power. And we can write any law we want, technically. But no one's doing that. Somehow people have been programmed to give up their vote. And now the American government, the two parties in power, Republicans, Democrats, remember, the general public aren't You're not part of this. You are not a Democrat or Republican. You're just a puppet on a string. Only the rich people who actually have the seats are Democrats and Republicans. These motherfuckers buy their seats. They buy their airtime on TV. They buy their motherfucking coverage in the media and the newspapers. And guess what? They own the corporations. The corporations are in a secret agreement to puppet the two political parties, motherfucking, people. And then you nominate one of them, and then you only get two choices for president? What the fuck? That means we don't actually have a platform of equal power in electing the right person. Because there's 300 million Americans. How come you're not choosing from the whole pot of 300 million Americans? And it's not just the one that was put on TV for you to choose from. How come, people? That's the enslavement technique. Because you're enslaved. You never pick up on it. The discussions on this, they're not happening on TV, are they? They just hide these discussions that need to be happening. And everyone's truly enslaved to this system. It's even the few people that think about this and they figure it out, they can't do anything with it once they figure it out. That the whole fucking government is a business. That the planet is a business. And that the only thing that matters is you getting and obtaining power and money. The only two things. Because the system is profit driven. Profit motive. Power motive. Those are the two things that go hand in hand. And the laws, once you get power, you write all the laws to reinforce that. Fuck. Don't pay your bills. Go to jail. Lose your house if you don't pay your bills. Fucking go to prison if you insult a fucking rich person. Or if you're an activist and you're against this, go to prison, get arrested for whatever you're protesting for. Give people only the bare minimum just so that part of them accepts the system thinking they're getting something, but they're not getting anything. They're getting the worst education, the worst health care, the worst wages, the worst homes. Your cities are built like shit and look like they've deteriorated to hell because the rich people are keeping all the fucking money and resources for them to prevent society's upkeep and people's from upkeeping themselves. Yeah, it's really like that. And I think about it. Did you know the CIA was behind the people going and getting LSD and drugs? And the age of Aquarius was all CIA induced mind control shit. They were pushing these drugs out in the community and getting people to use them. They're definitely behind these massive plots and changes in society. They control so much of it. They have so much fucking power. Law enforcement's involved. And intelligence agencies. All the alphabet soup and your local agencies are all tied into it. They have the ultimate power. They can do whatever they want. Just as long as they're all together on it. Oh yeah, man. They got a policy of killing people and then planting guns on them. Policy of beating the fuck out of someone and planting drugs in their car. They got policies to set us up and frame us. That's them. That goes back to COINTELPRO. That's old stuff. They've been doing this forever. NSA is all involved. They're framing society. It's a big platform of managing the population. William Binney, NSA whistleblower, former technical director, he said the same thing. He said this is about population control. See, population control. We're not talking about the criminals. We're talking about every fucking regular citizen living by these fucking rules, getting spied on and managed by them. Okay? So the age of Aquarius included, you had hippies, you had anti-war protests and stuff. They created all that shit. It's very possible that they created it all. And like I said, the motive was that if you are truly anti-war, you won't even go to war yourself. For yourself or your fellow man. And you've given up power. And you will not challenge the people who have decided they will do anything to maintain their power. And they're being trained to do that, and they're actually doing it. You don't threaten them if you're an anti-war president. You have to match them on the same level. Get in the power yourself. Then you can manage it in a safe way and then do all that evil shit that they're doing to maintain power. It's profitable to be powerful and evil. Get it? Because you control everything. And also, if you're more evil, you get on top because you're willing to do the more evil things. That's what I really meant to say just there. You get on top by doing the most evil and damaging things you can. The more people you sabotage and put down below you, the more you rise. The more you have. The more power you got. You really gotta start thinking about what the physics of all this are. And I just told you, it has nothing to do with it's not a law doing all this. It's not fairness. It's not, that the people who work the hardest get what they deserve. No, that's not the way any of it fucking works. You don't get what you deserve. The system is not set up to provide you anything unless you're ruthless and evil and destructive and willing to do what the powers that want to keep their power also want. And there's not a big enough movement to challenge that. That's why it's in place. It's all really an enslavement tool too, because they just want you, like everyone says, they want you to think that you can enter into a state of, having money and living a better life, the American dream. It's all fabricated. Keep you thinking there's something there for you. And then there's not. There's not. Most society's bad. Look at it. Look, the whole fucking thing is a whole. And you see that everyone's disadvantaged. Everyone's getting shot dead. Look at Detroit, dude. It looks, you would think it's Iraq, man. It looks like it's been bombed. It's because it's not being maintained. And all the jobs have been taken away. It's more profitable to let something fall apart than to maintain it, see? They're just not, it's the government and the corporations. The whole government's controlled by this process, so they're not paying to maintain anything anymore. And it turns out the things that, there's not like a huge, anyway, everything has fallen in the line of society to go down to the maximum power, maximum benefit for the wealthy. Things that aren't profitable, there's no money there. Like, there's no profit in exposing this, for example. There's no profit in funding a study on the environmental consequences of everything going on. There's no value in studying what's going on with people being put into prison at the levels they're being put in prison, or how mental illness is being created by all this, or how people are being, given a lot of hurtful, damaging medical care, and how it's really profitable to do that, and how the best treatments aren't being offered because it's not profitable, and how the worst treatments are being offered because it is profitable. There's no studies, like on pharmaceuticals, to look at the damaging long-term effects that have already, there are a couple though. You get dementia from taking fucking anti-anxiety drugs, and you get brain damage and brain shrinkage from the antipsychotics. The long-term studies showed you will stay psychotic on the drug, but you will cure yourself of psychosis if you don't take it. Literally, the study shows that. The study shows the drug keeps you psychotic and makes you psychotic. You will not have psychosis until you're on the drug. Your reality is good until you're on the drug. Then you're all fucked up. You're out of reality. You have a different personality, a different function, because parts of your brain aren't coming through anymore. It's not profitable to tell people that. It's not profitable to tell you that it's just severing connections in your mind when you take a drug. That your brain has a whole, each neuron has a complete function. And the only thing a drug does is go in and damage different parts of that so that different parts of it aren't working anymore. They don't like to tell you those things. And everyone, the whole system is set up now to give out drugs. You go into a doctor's office, you say, hey, my wife just broke up with me and I've been feeling down. The first thing they do, oh, let me sell you some fucking deadly drugs that'll give you bipolar mania. Literally, these aren't just the side effects. These are the actual effects. Remove and strip different emotions you're having and deaden how you feel about the world. And you'll keep taking this. You'll feel it in different levels. You might even get frozen in one state. And, you might even, so the drugs are also linked to, causing depression too. You try to withdraw, then you're crying like crazy when you never have done that before. And you can't recover. You have electrical zaps and you're weakened. You can't even physically move as much. So you'll be on that drug for a long time because you can't withdraw. Or you'll have akathisia. Or you'll have dystonia or tardive dyskinesia. Or sleep disturbances. Or you'll have a problem where you get all fucking fucked up. Brown urine. Fucking ED, where your erectile dysfunction. Dry pussy is another thing. Inability to orgasm. You'll get all sorts of things. This is either from the drug itself when you're on it, and of course that's what it's from. It's damaging things as you're on it. And then you discontinue, it gets even worse. I've had that thing where I had that done to me. That's why I know about it. And I've seen many others go through it. Dude, I've watched people sit there with electrical zaps after taking Effexor or Zoloft or something. They're sitting there just tweaking and fucking getting fucked up. And every time you do this to a person, every drug you put them on throughout their life has an accumulation of damages. And you get worse and worse. And that's why we've doubled the amount of people on Social Security since the 80s. Because of Prozac, when that came out, they just started prescribing this crap for every little problem. Zoloft, and it's not because it's effective. It's actually barely better than placebo. And that's not taking into consideration the damages it causes. If you don't take those into consideration, then it is slightly better than placebo. And that's the same with all the drugs. If you don't take into consideration that the study shows you'll have schizophrenia in 12 years because you didn't stop taking the drug, because the people who stopped it after 2 years or never took it, they don't have schizophrenia after 12 years. Or, it just keeps getting better and better the longer you go out. At 20 years, only like 7% of people who originally had schizophrenia will have it. But if they stayed on these drugs, it's like 70% because the drugs are causing it. And that's backed up by everything that they've learned. You take the brain out of the person who dies with schizophrenia who took drugs, you got all sorts of scar tissue, swelling in the brain, you're looking under everything, the plaque buildup, veins are damaged in the brain from the drugs. The drugs did it all. And you got dementia. So they found most of these drugs are all causing dementia long term, including like Ativan and Valium. Fucking bullshit. Lithium will kill your fucking kidney after 10 years. Like 33% of people just kidney failure. Holy shit. Every single drug's like that. Nexium will fuck your stomach up. That's a non-mental health drug. But they're giving these drugs out for profit. They decided you don't have a real medical condition usually, and they'll give you Nexium. There's a lot of lifestyle drugs these days, and so what they're doing is they're just giving these drugs out for lifestyle stuff. It has nothing to do with real medical problems. With the person who overeats, for example, they're giving themselves heartburn, or they don't have it at all. Either one, they just have a regular normal amount of heartburn or whatever, and you'll get this prescription for fucking goddamn Nexium. And it goes in there. It's a nervous system acting drug that severs the connections in your brain and your fucking stomach and nervous system. Then the pumps are less active from that, and they're kind of tranquilized. If you anyway, you had no medical condition really before. It was just normal amounts of heartburn, normal amounts of stuff, possibly from overeating, because you're overeating, you cause it. Well, the lifestyle thing is, oh, well, that's okay. You can overeat all you want. Here's Nexium. You cause all this damage, right? You're causing this condition yourself, or maybe it's normal. That's the same thing like depression. Like I just said, you broke up with your fucking wife or your girlfriend. You're going to be a little depressed. But, you know, it's normal. In the normal society, they prescribe, oh, how about this? 6 months of, you're going to get paid vacation for 6 months, doctor's order. And they're going to pay you for all that. And what else are we going to give you? Let's send you to a psychotherapist. Absolutely. And how, you know, I want to see you exercising if you can, and, you know, relaxing as much. Take a vacation. You know, go do some snowboarding or something. Go to the coast. Go some camping. Do what you got to do to get your mind back to the way it should be. Well, they don't do that in America. They'd rather damage your brain with drugs that are going to fuck you up than give you what you actually needed to heal yourself. Because the mind is dynamic. It's always growing. It's got to heal and do what it's got to do. And so does your body. And yeah, oh yeah, people physically feel like shit after something happens. Of course you have to put some time between that point and going forward. Okay? And sit down with a psychotherapist, and if you want to do that, you know, it's hard to find a good one. They're all kind of, some of them, I mean, it's not like a guaranteed to do anything, you know, but hey, that's the choice. I recommend the leisure stuff and the time. That's what you really need. Physical stuff like massage is good too. Do some massage, fucking hot tub and steam room. That'll actually make you feel better than anything you're getting from goddamn Zoloft. If you want to have your brain damaged so you can't feel anything, you'll have feel numbness. You can't cry anymore. Your tear ducts are all swollen from the dystonia and the muscle problems. Yeah, Zoloft is good, dude. So is all the other fucking ones. They're all the same. They all act the exact same. They're just a slightly different compound. They all do the same shit. And so they found with Nexium that all of a sudden you discontinue it, you would have a problem. It would be either on it over time, the damage just accumulates to your stomach function, and the different, like, Nexium, I don't know what it is per se, but usually these drugs work by blocking some type of cellular receptor site, and that's all they do, right? That's all they do at all, and that prevents the nerve activity from happening, or the cellular activity. And that's not good, because it's like a dam. You have a dam, you put that between a river, and then all of a sudden the water just stops flowing, and then it overflows eventually, and then it floods, right? That's what's going on. That's in physics, and you can't like interfere with the way things are working if you want them to keep working, right? If you want that river to flow, you got to leave it unblocked. That's the way that's why psychiatry is a fraud in medicine in general. They're just going in there and putting in these dams and these blockers that don't fix or do nothing. And that's precisely how antidepressants work, blocking reuptake, or antipsychotics, where just major tranquilizers. Nexium is kind of like that. And so you get injured because that dam is there blocking everything. The flow of the function isn't working. And everything, the gears get all fucked up. The fucking dust gets kicked around in your brain. Your brain is a universe, right? physics are going on. If the physics can't work, things get torn apart. A big machine just falls apart in your mind, in your fucking body, and you get misgrowths, damage, shrinkage, whatever. You get all the stuff I've told you about, and then functions are altered and changed because the brain growth, the structures change. You can lose receptor sites, for example. You block them, they die off. And so you can also end up with compensation effects, or hypersensitivity develops. It just doesn't work. The drugs don't work. That's why it doesn't work. So people usually, I don't know about people long term on Nexium, but I've heard the effects. I'm sure that there's going to be some consequences staying on long term, just like with staying on an antidepressant too long. You get fucked up. Okay, just like I was saying, the side effects where that you won't be able to cry, your muscles will get all fucked up, swollen, fucking. You'll have dryness in your body that doesn't go away, dry pussy, dry mouth, dry eyes. Your muscle control function gets worse. Your ability to see reality gets worse. You get dementia, whatever, encephalopathy, different crap goes on. That's really what happens to people. They become zombies permanently. Psychiatrists will typically say, hey, I'm observing my patient, and all this drug did to them was just make them zombie-like. It's like it induced mental illness. They're apathetic, they're not feeling things anymore, they fucking blunted effect. See? Psychiatrists agree with what I'm saying, because you find stuff like this. You find them commenting on it. They agree to it. They agree it creates mental illness. That it doesn't actually cure or make you better. And that you get damage. The long-term use is really bad. A couple of years, maybe like a year or two. And sometimes it affects the very bad damages. The really bad damages like akathisia and dystonia can take a while to develop. But they are developing, surely. And it could be like you discontinue the drug, then it shows up. Or, it could be up to like years after you stop taking the drug before it even shows up fully. Because your body is then trying to heal itself after you're off the drug, and then it just comes out. What's really wrong, what all the damage was, is now finally appearing. And you got to take time to notice it too. With Nexium, they found you discontinue Nexium after long periods of time. Lots of people having problems with super excessive amounts of acid in their stomach. So they started off where they didn't really have a medical condition, and then now they do. Really, before it was just about them overeating. They eat too many fucking burgers all at once. They're eating huge meals, way bigger than what they should. They're drinking too much fucking soda all day and eating too much, keeping their stomach fucked up. That's, or maybe they had normal amounts of heartburn, just regular amount here and there, and they said something to their doctor. They're like, oh, here, have some motherfucking Nexium. And it's universal. This happens with every compound and drug out there. The birth control causes problems too. I've heard problems with, you try to get off the birth control and then you basically can't live without it anymore. The birth control, it's not an addiction thing, it's really you're having all sorts of side effects. The damage of using the hormones and the chemical. You have super amounts of hot flashes and depression and fatigue and weakness and so depressed. Whereas when you started off, you were actually capable of living without it until you started taking it. Oh, we're hurting ourselves with these drugs. Every single drug out there. Marijuana, Look at that. Let's look at the street drugs. The street drugs do the same thing. Street drugs. Marijuana causes psychosis. The skunk variety, like 33% of people get schizophrenia or psychosis. Or bipolar disorder. That's another thing comes on. Irritability that doesn't go away. Different other problems from marijuana use. Absolutely. And it was in a study from the UK. They found that out. They're like 33% of these new cases of psychosis appear to be stemming from skunk use. Well, I am for living life without this. I wish I had the choice. But anyway, it's all part of the same system. Another reason they're doing this, any other treatment besides drug, it's not profitable. Because you have, the patents are involved. The corporation, you can make this right there. The corporation makes this in a fucking manufacturing plant. And it's so cheap to fucking make this shit. And then you just fucking send it out in a pill form. And then you control the whole process. Patented, manufacturing, and all the money right to you. Also, the investors in the company, boom, collecting money. So the health insurance company will invest. So every bit of healthcare they pay for, they actually get some kickbacks. Either in kickback form or in investment form. You get payment of royalties and you get payment of whatever. Other opportunities come from it too. You get the, what is it? When you're a stockholder, you get some fucking money from every bit of profits. You get a percentage of share, some dollars per share. What else? Yeah, so that control, the whole healthcare system is based on that right now. They found a way to maximize that. And so other treatments aren't being offered at all in favor of that because the people in power get to control the whole process. All the money just goes right back to them. They're collecting this from people who buy into the insurance. You pay into the insurance, and you think you're getting health care, but that money, there's people who want to collect that. And it's the fucking drug companies and the insurance company. They want it back in their fucking pocket. And so drugs are the easiest way. Now, if you go and pay a local therapist, then the money goes to him and it can't be collected, at the drug company level and doesn't go to any investors, see? So they don't want that. They don't want to give you a fucking therapist if they don't have to. What else? So with Obamacare, they have that system too set up where it's 80%, 20% ratio. 80% must be spent on healthcare. And I just told you some of this shit. But 20% could go to other things